This week on Randy Reviews It, we talk about what I learned at Guncon, who I met, and the state of the industry. Stick around. Hey everybody, Randy Reviews It here. So this week we're talking about Guncon 2024, put on by the Gun Collective, hosted at the amazing Brownells facility in Grinnell, Iowa. It was a very fun event, despite a ton of rain and us having to go cold on the range day for what seemed like 2 or 3 hours after a late start. So with all that, let's get into things. And let's talk about the state of the industry. Overall, I think things are kind of stale. And the reason I say that is what was talked about at Guncon, kind of universally by people, was the Bul Armory stuff. They have a comped and ported gun, which, for people who shoot Staccato XCs, this might shoot a little bit softer because it also has ports on it as well as the comp on the end. The Bul Armory stuff, I got a chance to shoot a few of them. They are very, very nice. Like, I was impressed by them. I could see why people love them, especially at the price point they're at. But Bul Armory was kind of the talk of the town while we were there. Jared, my friend at Guns and Gadgets, was there. He is all in on 2011s lately. And he was loving that Bul Armory, and he couldn't stop talking about it. I've heard others talking about it as well. HK was there, and HK had pretty much what you expect, the regular HK lineup. But there are a few things that I learned talking to HK there. One, I thought the USPs were going away, which I bought 2 of them just in case they were going away. They're going to stick around. They're going to be supported. They're going to be sold. You don't need to worry about the USPs going away, according to the HK vendor. The other thing, this guy, I was only going to fangirl out for one person that I saw as a creator on the list. I got in as a creator myself. But Print, Shoot, Repeat, I'm a huge fan of his music videos. I get a kick out of it. I'm not into 3D printing anything or squirting, as they say, and I'm not really into that, but I love his videos. I love his music videos, and it was fitting that at the HK booth I turned over my right shoulder and there he was, mask and all, and talking about the HK slap. So it was amazing to meet him. He's awesome. That made my weekend. But HK overall, they're not gonna, I asked them if they were gonna make a metal frame gun now that Walther's doing it, something for the VP9 Match or VP9L, because I've told them I think they bobbled that one. They agreed with me that they probably bobbled it, but they don't see a steel frame or anything like that coming anytime soon. So yeah. The P30L, everyone was kind of going crazy over that. They didn't have the Langdon version, but everyone, was like, which gun did John Wick use? And they were shooting that. So HK, more of the same, but they're not cutting anything out. Radian booth was a big talked about one, but I'm not really into it that much, and maybe you guys are, but they were releasing the Ramjet for the 365 was kind of their big push there. A lot of people shooting it, a lot of people liking it. I'm not a big fan of comps, especially I shoot under a pavilion and I get a headache after 50 or 100 rounds. It's rough. And I think if I had to ever shoot from a vehicle, if I had to shoot inside a house, anything like that, that a comp is going to be miserable. and the trade-off for the recoil for me isn't there. I do well enough with 40 Smith & Wesson VP40, so I'm not that concerned about it. But Radian was there. One of the things that I had to do, you guys know on my AR tier list, I kind of trashed on Radian a little bit. I was like, hey, I haven't shot one of their guns in like 3 years. Let's shoot this. And it was exactly what I remember. Heavy as hell. Like, it was heavy. It was a heavy gun. I get it. It's going to last and that stuff. But come on, you guys got to lighten that thing up. And then, you know, just the Radian controls I don't think are that great. Like, the Radian safety to me isn't that great. I think the forward controls, like the Q lever, is my favorite safety. But I think, you know, Trigger Tech does a good safety and that sort of thing. Like, Radian's pretty low on my list as far as AR safeties. So Radian was doing their thing. They were out in a big force, and a lot of people were talking about that 365 Ramjet. Daniel Defense was there. They were showing off their pistol caliber carbine. They brought like a whole RV and were really setting up shop and that sort of thing. I'm not into pistol caliber carbines, especially if they're not full auto. Like, to me, that's where they get like kind of fun or more practical. You know, if, like my friend Logan always says, if I grab a carbine, I want it to do carbine things, not pistol things. And he's right about that, which I love 300 Blackout because it does more than a pistol caliber carbine, but you still get these suppression benefits and recoil benefits and all this other stuff. So 300 Blackout is better. Debate me on that. So Daniel Defense was showing that off. A lot of people liked it. Stuff and Things was there with their Stizon, which is, you know, like one of those Bison cylindrical mags. I mean, it's cool, but like I don't think I'm going to get a straight blowback AK pistol anytime soon. So that wasn't my cup of tea either. Surprising though, let's talk about what was my cup of tea. And this is going to throw a bunch of you for a loop. But if you guys watch my pistol tier list video, maybe it'll make more sense. The Walther PDP-F. So Walther was there. And you guys have known I have a love-hate relationship with the Walther PDP. I think it should have had, you know, trigger guard mag releases and that, you know, calling it optics ready and then having to wait on a plate and that sort of thing was kind of ridiculous. But I think, and the recoil is ridiculous. Pretty much everyone says go to the ZR tactical guide rod of the lower weight and it's a lot better. So the PDP-F, the two Walther reps there, they both had their personal PDP-Fs out on the table for people to try. Supposedly, it's their personal ones. But I shot the PDP-F, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I thought the recoil impulse was better than the PDP. In, like, let's say a 4-inch PDP-F versus a 4-inch PDP, the PDP-F is going to take that. It's going to win that. The grip felt a lot better in my hand. Everyone was kind of saying the same. Like, they loved the PDP-F. They had the steel frame guns there that everyone was also, you know, getting a chance to shoot those. And those are going to shoot soft. But from a carry perspective, you're not going to carry them. Those are more competition-focused, nightstand, whatever you want to call it, range toys. But the PDP-F was seriously a good contender for a carry gun. Like, I think if you're not a fan of the 365 and you're not a fan of the Glocks and Shadow Systems type stuff, or they're just not doing it for you, check out the PDP-F. I'm looking at grabbing one here. I don't know if I'm going to do the 3.5 or the 4-inch, but overall, loved it. Loved that gun. There was a company there, and this is where things get interesting. VKTR Industries. I think, you know, Victor Industries. They had an AR-15 there, and they made some pretty bold claims. So to discuss what this gun is it's an auto self-regulating piston gun. And I think they said they have like 9 or 11 new patents in this gun. So they're trying to innovate things. I'll give them that. What it is it's a piston that the guy from LWRC supposedly helped design. And rather than it having different gas settings, it knows how much gas it needs, and it auto self-regulates and bleeds off the rest at that gas block, kind of like how Superlative Arms has a bleed-off area. This bleeds off everything that it doesn't need. So they were saying that it has a much softer recoil impulse. It shoots a lot softer than everything else, and it comes straight back, you know, that sort of thing. I shot it there, and it didn't feel very soft to me. So that's why I rushed home after this, and I was like, I got to get to the range while this is still fresh in my head. And I took out my Type A and my Griffin Armament Mark II. That video's coming out on that in 2 weeks. So stay tuned for that, because it's going to be a great one. And I shot them, and they shot a lot softer than the VKTR Industries gun. A lot softer. And so that claim, I think they blew that claim out of proportion. They do have a couple of interesting features, though. So, like, there's some 22-degree cam lock. If you go to their website, they explain it. But basically, they consider it, you know, an issue that the cam bolt hits the side of the receiver in the AR-15 to kind of spin it or move it, or sometimes it brushes against that. So they have a different taper on that, or a different, you know, path, trajectory, if you will. They do something with their bolt carrier that's a little bit different on things. And then they have the auto self-regulating piston, that sort of stuff. They told John Patton, because I was standing next to him at this booth, that they're seeing sub-MOA with trophy bonded bear claw, which I don't know. Like, sub-MOA, a lot of companies are saying this. I don't know if I buy it. I would be thrilled if a company's just said we're like a 1.5, 2 MOA rifle. Like, just be honest with it with most things, because sub-MOA requires sub-MOA conditions, ammo, consistency, weather, you know, whatever else. So I don't know. To me, it seems like it's a hype train, and at first, like, the night of, I was really looking them up, and I was interesting, and then I tried it, and it didn't really wow me. So, like, I don't think I'm reaching out to them anytime soon, or testing it, or anything like that, because it's a $2,400 AR. So, if you know a little bit about what I've reviewed in the past, Blackout Defense, $2,400 AR. Type A Pro adjustable gas block, $2,400 AR. If you count what it took to put my V7 with a lower, you're looking at, you know, $2,400 AR. So I'm familiar with that area, and nothing that they were doing was like, I need that my guns don't already do, that my guns can't keep up with. And I'll even say this, I don't think you need a $2,400 AR. It's a luxury, it's a want, it's not a need. I think, and this may be spoiling things, but I think that real solid point is from $1,500 to $2,000. Within that range, you can get a really amazing gun. That's all it has to be, $1,500 to $2,000. I would even say to $1,700. You know, you're in that range. You can get an amazing gun. So for this gun to be $2,400 and for it to not, like, blow me away shooting it, like, when people shoot my guns, they're like, man, that is pretty soft, or something like that. It didn't blow me away there. So that was, I don't know, not my cup of tea. And then there was, like, a tactical lever gun company where they had integrally suppressed lever actions. That's not my thing either. So overall, like, it was stagnant. There wasn't much innovation, I felt like. And it's kind of the state of the industry. Like, talking to people there, I got to talk to a lot of really cool people that I watched their YouTube channels. You know, Tactical Toolbox was there. Tactical Considerations was there. Tactical Advisor, all the tacticals. Print, Shoot, Repeat was there. Guns and Gadgets was there. Mr. Guns and Gear was there. You know, a bunch of people were there. John Fawn over the GOA group was there. They always represent and show up, and that's great of them. But I got to talk to these other creators, and we're talking about, you know, what's going on and the state of the industry. And, you know, gun sales are down a lot. And one, I know the economy is rough. I would never put it on you guys to buy more guns. Buy what you need, and then you can stop there. I'm fine with that. I'm not going to try to sell you guns unless you have an issue like I do where I enjoy buying them as my hobby and that sort of thing. But make sure you're in a good place financially before you do that. They did say that the accessory market and kind of optics was where things were blowing up, especially too in like night vision. So that's what they're selling a lot of. I mean, I just went on Brownells today and bought like 2 BCM angled verts, Magpul grip, some rail covers, that sort of thing. So yeah, buying those accessories, it seems to be like what everyone's talking about, or else night vision. And then they were just talking about, you know, some of these budget guns coming out. Some of them are doing really well, some of them are not. So overall, the state of the industry, Guncon was a big event. When I showed up on the actual day of the con, there was apparently 1,000 in attendance. Like, it was wild how far people had to park back to get into Guncon. But, you know, they were just there. They got to meet all these people, creators, you know, or whatever it is. So it's like you got to go up and just, you know, shake their hand. And no one came up to me, which I didn't expect anyone to. I'm a small channel, I get that. But the booths at Guncon were great, and so were the panels. So the panels were your favorite creators talking about things, where they see things heading, what they want to change. They were just taking viewer questions right there on the spot. A couple of companies were there that were representing. I know Radian, again, talking about them. They were handing out free charging handles, people. I got one. It's great. I love their charging handles, actually. So they were there representing. People got a lot of swag. People got entered for raffles. Someone won a whole Stuff and Things Bison AK that was like silver and gold and stuff. It was wild. So if you're in Iowa and you get the chance, I definitely recommend going to Guncon. As far as like the gun industry right now, things are pretty stagnant. And I saw a video this week from Curtis over at VSO Gun channel, and he had like a perfect point where there was a vendor that talked to him and said, you know, like, you guys need to do this. You should interview us. You should do all these things at the show. And he's like, why? No one wants to see that. And I agree with him completely. Like, watching the SHOT Show coverage and the way that these trade shows are being handled lately has been somewhat depressing. Like, if you're not going to put a gun out for like a year and a half, I don't want to see it yet. Like, I'm not interested. Like, it needs to be, I think if you're going to show a gun off at a trade show, it needs to be released in the next 2 quarters. Otherwise, don't show it. There's plenty of trade shows, and he brought up an interesting point that some of these companies, to try and get like their marketing out, go to every trade show instead of working with a few people and creators or something like that to get a wider audience. Like, they're wasting all this money on going to all these trade shows for us to just shoot, you know, like 5 rounds through something where we can't give an accurate opinion about things. So I think Curtis is right on that. It's a great video. Go check that out. But I don't recommend, for most viewers, going to like a SHOT Show. Or, you know, if you're an FFL or something like that, I know you have to be. But SHOT Show, to me, the only thing that I would go there for would be networking. And I think that there's too many people there in the overwhelming nature that even networking is kind of rough. Like, I think the smaller shows, you get a lot better relationships with people. And I think that the way that those shows get covered is going to be changing a lot in the future. I agree with Curtis on that. Like, to me, I don't think there's much value in watching like the booth interviews. Like, I know TFB TV did a bunch of interviews with people at Guncon, and like to me, not much value there. I love TFB TV, you know, Hop and James Reeves and all that stuff. They weren't there, unfortunately, because I would have loved to have met them. But I think like those booth interviews and talking about the products and stuff like that where we don't have experience with it. Like I can't bring you an educated opinion on something that I've only shot, you know, 5 rounds through or 10 rounds through or something like that. So I think those are kind of pointless. What it should be is, hey, I'm interested in this item. Can we work something out where I can show it to my audience, test it out, really vet it, and then we'll go from there. You know, like, can I be your beta testers? Essentially what we need to be asking ourselves with these companies. So if you're into YouTube, if you have a channel, if you're looking to start one, I think that's the route. I'm a small channel yet. I'm not that popular. I don't care. I do this because I like it. And that's the other thing, you know. With Guncon, some people definitely seemed like they were there to hustle for cash and not because they wanted to be there. And that's unfortunate, you know. I'm not going to name names right now because I don't even think I got their names. But just hearing them, I wasn't interested in getting their names. So, yeah. If I know your name, we're good. Yeah. But, yeah, Guncon, it's a really stale industry right now. I hope things get better. I know right now PSA is working on things. Everyone was talking about Tommy Built T7, that it looks like that's already flopping pretty hard. So, yeah. Tommy Built T7, don't get that. Don't get Tommy Built stuff. Like, unless you have, like, Scrooge McDuck money laying around. Because, like, anyone that gets those and expects them to just run, like, you're delusional. I'm sorry. You know? Like, I know it's a dream gun or something like that for some people. For me, it's just like, hey, that's cool. I don't think it works that well. It's just plastic. Take care. And with that, you know, take care, everyone. Guncon, good event. If you're in the area, go. You might get free stuff, like from raffles, or you could win stuff or get stuff from Radian. If you guys see things that we should be doing as like YouTube or Guntubers and things like that, definitely suggest it in the comments. Like, you are why we're on YouTube. So that came up a lot at Guncon, actually. Is why aren't we on Rumble? We are on Rumble. It's just none of you are there. And I'm guilty as charged too. I barely watch anything on Rumble because I think the interface sucks. So I don't fault any of you for that. But when we hear, hey, just go on Rumble if YouTube's shutting you down, we can't because none of you are there. So you guys are really what steers us. So any suggestions in the comments, if you're just saying, Randy, stop eating, that sort of thing, leave that in the comments as well. I'll take that advice. I'm working on it. I'll take any advice. If you guys see me at a range or any event, definitely come up and say hello. I always love meeting people. I'm genuinely I nerd out about this stuff. So if you're watching this, you probably nerd out about this stuff too. We probably have a lot in common. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'm done ranting, rambling, whatever you want to call it. Guncon was fun. I got to see a lot of my friends again. Looking forward to the Goals GOA event in Knoxville, Tennessee. I think it's August 17th, 18th. I'll be there. A bunch of us are going to be there. Yeah, take care, everyone. Thanks for watching.